While many of us spend the holidays remembering the best of 2024, towns and villages across the state line are already thinking towards the arrival of 2025. WIFR reporter Jade Marceau-Marie talked with the leaders of two of the municipalities down the Rock River, Oregon and Byron, on their plans and wishes for their residents for the new year.
Oregon and Byron began working together as part of the Ogle County Economic Development Corporation in 2023. Byron Mayor John Rickard says the organization is still at ground level, but they hope to see it grow and benefit them even more in the future.
Still building the organization, making contacts and setting priorities and that kind of thing.
Darren Dehan is the vice president of the corporation and Oregon city manager. He says one of the city's main focuses is the historic downtown, developing local businesses and making the area accessible and affordable.
We know we have people that like to bike and walk, so we want to continue to make connections with our beautiful downtown and our residential areas so people can make it into the downtown safely and walk, working on ADA access and those types of things.
Oregon Mayor Ken Williams says the municipality offers to pay half the rent for new businesses on their first year.
We pay $5,000 to the owners of the business to fix up the outside of the business, and together that's helped us fill the downtown.
Higher up the river, Byron puts a heavy emphasis on housing, something the city's mayor, John Richard, says is a regional issue. In Byron and Oregon, Jane Marceau-Marie, WIFR News.
Oregon Mayor Ken Williams says more discussion is expected in 2024 regarding the future of the riverfront. He hopes it will go to the people, but it's up to the county if factories get to build on it. Meanwhile, both mayors thank their staff for this year, 2024.